The members are reminded to abide by decorum of the House.
Everyone's laughing at Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene after she, of course, called for decorum during the debt ceiling negotiations. And it's understandable why she would get laughed at, considering she is not exactly the proponent of decorum you would expect her to be when she's participating in some of these negotiations. I want to give you a few examples, including how she behaved during Biden's State of the Union address.
The votes are on the board. That the House.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you,
So she was screaming liar, but to be fair to her, other Republicans were losing it over Biden just stating the truth about how they wanted to cut Social Security. But my favorite moment of decorum from Marjorie Taylor Greene came in the context of her back and forth with Democratic lawmaker Eric Swalwell.
Was kept up for months after Kanye West said that he was going to declare DEFCON 3 on the Jews. Mr. Secretary, do you believe that all of us have a responsibility to elevate our rhetoric and to denounce anti-Semitism and anti-police rhetoric in this country so that Jewish Americans and police officers can be safer?
Congressman, I do.
Thank you, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields, and now I recognize the gentlelady from Georgia, Ms. Greene.
That was quite entertaining from someone that had a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy, and everyone knows it. But
I move to take her words down. Completely inappropriate. Yeah, stand by just a second while we research the rule. Give me just a second.
Yeah, that's funny coming from someone who had sex with a tantric sex guru. I say it every time. All right, that's.
You're obsessed with that.
I know, because family values. She left her husband for that. That's okay. It's okay. I don't mind. People get divorced all the time, and people have sex with tantric sex gurus all the time.
Do they?
Okay, but you're gonna bring up personal stuff. We're gonna bring up personal stuff. All right. So look, I'm gonna do the thing I normally do with this stuff. If you're a longtime Young Turks viewer, you know what I'm gonna say. I don't mind. I don't mind the loss of decorum. I think decorum is useless, counterproductive. In fact, it enforces civility, which means don't fight back. Everybody go back to sleep. Let the people in charge be in charge. The fact that it's that kind of order is breaking down. Normally, it's a problem for the country when we've got chaos in the streets in a lot of places, and I'm worried about that. And our social fabric is fraying. I'm super worried about that. But within Congress, at least they're beginning to disagree with one another. I mean, we've had a uniparty for so long.
Are they though, Cenk? I mean, we still have a pro-corporate uniparty. We just do. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind as we pretend like there's real debate taking place among Democrats and Republicans. This whole thing is a charade.
Yeah.
The debt ceiling negotiations is a charade. There is no need for negotiations. Biden could unilaterally raise the debt ceiling. He's choosing not to because he wants to cut the spending. Okay, we already have Democratic leadership, the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries saying it's totally reasonable to freeze spending to 2023 levels, which would be a cut considering inflation. Go ahead.
Yeah, so look, of course, Anna's totally right about the corporate policies, but one of the reasons that I want decorum to break down a little bit within Congress, right? Not so much like it's January 6th, but enough that it's like Parliament in the UK, where they yell at each other and they argue, they debate. Now, UK is a lot more honest than the US, because in the US, we allow private financing of elections, so donors can just buy all of our politicians. That's why we have a uniparty, because they buy both Republicans and Democrats, which is the logical thing to do if you're a corporation and you want to rule the country. But one of the reasons I want it to be a little bit more of a free-for-all is because maybe, just maybe, we could get progressives in Congress to fight back against corporate Democrats. because that's the number one thing they're afraid of. Oh, that would be uncivil. That would be uncivil. What if we said that our own colleagues are corrupt because they take corporate money? Yes. Be less civil. Break with decorum. Say things that are true, so that they're fighting over nonsense like people's sex lives. They're laughing at Marjorie Taylor Greene. And look, I enjoy a good laugh at Marjorie Taylor Greene's expense. She more than deserves it. Her asking for decorum is hilarious, of course, right? But it's not, as to Anna's point, it's not substantive, right? So fight over substantive stuff. And I don't care, like the rest of all the corrupt people, which is like 90% of the Democrats and 99% of the Republicans, they're not gonna fight over that. They agree on all that stuff. But the 10% that are progressives get less civil on things that matter, like money in politics and corruption.
No, I think that they've completely acquiesced to the corporate wing of the Democratic Party I mean, look, I think that it's partly self-interest, right? It's incredibly uncomfortable to have to work with colleagues who dislike you. And so they want to be accepted, they want to be liked, they want to be validated by members of their own party, even though the whole reason why they were elected in the first place was to pose a challenge to the corporate wing of the Democratic Party. They have acquiesced when it comes to economic policy, that's for sure. And every single one of them has chosen, I don't know, some pet issue having to do with the culture war to focus all of their energy on. You have Cori Bush talking about reparations. You have, AOC talking about prison abolition and other stuff like that. Where's the economic policy? Where's the fight to actually improve the material conditions of the very Americans who voted you into these positions of power in the first place?
And
honestly,
guys, part of the problem with that is it's theatrics. They know
100%,
because they know there's a 0% chance.
You're not going to get reparations in this Congress. Let's just keep it real, Cori Bush.
You think the House Republicans are going to pass reparations? So look, you want to fight for that? God bless your heart, but like you have to find things that you could be productive and win on. And so when you fight on things that you know you have no chance of winning on, you're basically saying, I'm choosing theatrics instead of policy. And that's our issue with it. Because they have that target-rich environment. Here, I'll give you an example. So Biden right now is giving away this store to Republicans, as Anna pointed out about the debt ceiling, right? Now, some progressives like Ro Khanna and Bernie Sanders have objected, and they say we don't agree. Okay, good, that's the beginning, but that shouldn't be the end. And so I give them as good examples because at least they're saying something, right? But for all the progressives, they should be saying, why is Joe Biden agreeing to spending cuts for Republicans? That makes no sense. That's the opposite of his agenda. That's gonna hurt us politically. Why is Biden hurting us? And why is he going against his own voters? Why is he doing that? You know what would happen if you said that? The whole country, all of a sudden the media would be like, oh my God, soap opera. And they would rush in and they'd talk about a fight between someone who's famous and Joe Biden, right? And you just fill in the blank, AOC, it doesn't matter, Ilhan Omar, doesn't matter, right? You have to start a fight so you can get attention because you are correct on economic issues. And that way you could protect your voters and you could actually win on that. But instead, we have nothing but theatrics. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.